Everybody, welcome back to Aux Talks. It is Saturday, July 20th, 2024. Still reporting in here from Venice, Italy. Having a great time, really enjoying this city so far. We did a little cruise last night, saw the Basilica San Marco yesterday, and the Doge Palace. Really enjoyed that. I'll upload some shorts here in a couple days as well if you guys are enjoying seeing some of that footage. I want to also, by the way, today's a big day here in Venice. We didn't actually plan to be here for this, but they have an event called Renditore. And again, I know I'm slaughtering that, but it's spelled Rendetore, Renditore. And it is celebrated on the 3rd July, 3rd Saturday of July each year. So it's a once a year event, and what people do is they decorate all their boats down here, and it's a huge celebration throughout the day today, and then they do a big fireworks show tonight at like 11:45 their time. But it's a big party, so we're going to try to make our way through the crowds this evening. I'm going to try to stay awake late enough to check out the fireworks show with the family. So Renditore, check it out. There is some history behind it, and it should be a fun day. So I'm reporting it. Obviously, for you guys, it's going to be a Saturday morning show, or whenever you want to watch it throughout the day today. But I wanted to keep discussing this issue of the IT failure that happened yesterday, played out throughout the day. And from what I read this morning here, it is still impacting, having a substantial impact and playing out throughout the world. I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday, texting, and he said, well, it's no big deal. He had gone to Charles Schwab yesterday, and he was trying to deposit some money into his Schwab trading account, and their platform was down. So he had to actually handwrite it. He wrote a check, and they had to issue him a handwritten receipt for his check. Okay, he could not use the platform to transfer money into his trading account. Again, his comment was, "Well, it's no big deal." I said, "Well, look, it is a big deal. This is a worldwide event. Again, it highlights the weakness and the fallibility, if you will, if that's a word, of this interconnected system that we're all in." And look at, I don't know, I hate to go down this road. I know that CrowdStrike said, well, it was just a mishap with a download or an upgrade to their app. But why wouldn't that have been publicized? Why wouldn't they have looked at that and said this could have some impact, and maybe put institutions on notice? It just makes you wonder, just questioning things, guys. Was this something behind the scenes that was planned? Was it kind of a dry run setup? I mean, look, you never know. Obviously, they were quickly come out, the CEO of the company, and say it's not a cyber attack. Don't worry, it's just an internal systems issue. But then again, we're having systems down across this country. I took a photo of this morning, of I'm looking at my laptop here, but of the companies that were affected by from yesterday. And I want to read you the list of companies. TD Bank. I had a subscriber say that they tried to access their online banking from TD Bank and they could not do it. Microsoft, Charles Schwab, GoTo, Visa, BT MGM, CrowdStrike, Starbucks, Bank of America, Xbox, Chase Bank, Allegiant Air, Arvest, ADP, Google, Amazon, Square, Delta Airlines, Frontier Airlines, Zoom, Wells Fargo Bank, DoorDash, and Southwest Bank. That's just a few of the companies that were listed that I saw that were impacted by this, let's say, system outage or system down. Evidently, people were getting this blue screen of death where they were told to reboot their computers. They couldn't reboot. I can't even imagine what the economic loss was yesterday and will be throughout the coming days as this thing is still being restored. There's an article out of LA Times I wanted to share with you today. Obviously discusses more about the impact on California, but this is not unique to California. This is from LAX to hospitals to Starbucks. Global tech outage brings chaos and frustration. And the word chaos is important because you guys think that this is just the first time it's going to happen. Excuse me, it's not the last time it's going to happen. And it's not the most severe, all right, by any stretch of the imagination. So we talk about chaos, talk about inability to access your trading account. How wealthy are you guys when your wealth is wrapped up in digits on a screen or digits in a program somewhere that cannot be accessed when the platform goes down? Or in this case, not even your direct platform, but an unrelated platform that covers the cybersecurity aspect of the larger, let's say in this case it was Microsoft. Again, I'm speaking from a lack of specific, let's say, lingo and terminology, but you guys understand what I'm getting at. This says airlines, banks, healthcare systems, government agencies, and industries across California scrambled to recover Friday from a widespread global technology issue. Roughly 100 flights, it says, had been canceled by mid-morning Friday at Los Angeles International Airport, and even more were delayed. Overnight, travelers facing long delays and cancellations were resigned to trying to get some sleep on the airport's well-trodden carpeted floor. Some used their luggage as pillows. So we're saying overnight. That means overnight, last night into today. This is still an ongoing situation, folks. At some California hospitals, it says, listen to this, staff said outage prevented them from accessing patient charts. That's a big deal, okay? Patient charts give the history of the patient, what medications they're on. That's an interconnected system as well. And now we're talking about impacting your ability to get, let's say, effective health care, right? If they cannot go on the system and find out, what medications you're on, and you're unable to explain that to them, big problem. Starbucks faced major disruption in its mobile ordering service throughout the day, meaning says caffeine seekers had to place their orders in person at stores. Some locations simply closed for the day. Some government agencies, it says, also reduced services. Travelers at other California airports were facing similar issues to LAX. The chaos stemmed from the faulty update sent by CrowdStrike, okay, again, a Texas cybersecurity company. The software is widely used that interfered with the core functions of computers running Microsoft Windows. This caused Microsoft's infamous blue screen of death to pop up and convey a message. It says your PC ran into a problem and needs to restart. So I did get comments from many of you saying that you did experience that blue screen, and I think some indicated you were able to restart, and some indicated you were not able to restart. I think I got a comment from a subscriber that works at a medical office that said they were shut down completely. Meanwhile, the defect rippled across technology worldwide. There were reports that some airports were beginning to restart service, but it was unclear when operations would return to normal. The California Governor's Office, excuse me, I'm scrolling here and it's shaking the camera, my apologies. California Governor's Office of Emergency Services wrote on X that officials are closely monitoring the global software outage. How often do we hear we're closely monitoring the situation? Closely monitoring does nothing to solve the problem, obviously. It's just everyone sitting around and watching the chaos unfolding. Initial reports indicate minor state system outages, the office wrote. 9/11 system evidently was not impacted, at least in California. So the LAX first started to see glitches late Thursday. Outages were initially limited to Frontier Airlines and a few other carriers and were caused partially by a software issue with Navitaire, a boarding pass printing system. The issue grew as more and more airlines began to face the same problems. Delta, American, and United Airlines were also affected. So as representative from LAX emphasized that the issues facing the airport did not affect flight safety. Okay, but they certainly affected you if you had to get on a plane to go see a family member. Let's say you were going to some kind of a family emergency or a funeral or a wedding, or you're coming home from one of those events. So it may not have impacted the safety in the air, but certainly impacted any of us that were trying to travel. So San Francisco International Airport, the numbers were similar, all right? So LAX had more than 70 cancellations yesterday before 7 a.m. But there were only 14 cancellations all day on Wednesday. So look at the increase in flight cancellations. More than 8,800 flights were delayed, and 2,600 flights had been canceled across the United States. Imagine the loss of time, the loss of productivity, the economic loss to the airlines, the economic loss to the people that were unable to board those flights, the economic loss to the companies that were relying on those people boarding those flights if they were for business purposes. Obviously, it goes on and on. You can understand the point I'm trying to make. This frustration among airline employees and passengers was widespread at the airport. Some tried to sleep on a luggage conveyor belt before an airport employee shouted for them to get up. It was terrible. It is terrible, said Alyssa Moore, 29. We're still going through it. So he added the company's system, this is Delta, company's system was completely shut down, and the resulting crippling of flight operations, it says, was worse than 9/11. This is according to a Delta Airlines representative. Passengers reported waits of up to 2 hours to get through security into Terminal 2, as many people whose flights were canceled were instructed to retrieve their baggage before trying to rebook their flight. What a nightmare, right? Passengers whose flights had been canceled stood sullenly in line to rebook, but could not complete that task either because of the outages. One video showed a woman at LAX hugging a Delta employee as she cried. So look, we have one event like this. We have people literally falling apart. People are sobbing at the airport. This is one event that, yes, it was worldwide, but was it catastrophic? No. Wait till something really serious happens, folks. All right. And we have all these stories about people at LAX that were being impacted by this. A lot of upset people. U.S. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg said that although new technology has brought major benefits to efficiency and safety, they also have specific vulnerabilities that must be addressed. All right. And of course, it says that the outages went beyond aviation within the provincial healthcare system Providence healthcare system. IT teams worked overnight to restore functionality in electronic health records. The healthcare company noted that other clinical applications and workstations were still not up and running as of Friday afternoon. Cedars-Sinai Medical Center said it was also experiencing fallout from the software outage, although the hospital remained open on Friday. It obviously impacted Starbucks. Says the Department of Motor Vehicles, DMV, was forced to scale back services at offices statewide. Online services and kiosks were not affected by the outage. California people in the California jail system, it says, were unable to make or receive phone calls because of the outage. The software update affected Viapath, the communication technology, and used in jails, according to the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. It's not clear when the system will be up and running. CDCR understands how important it is for the incarcerated people to stay connected with their loved ones and is diligently working, they said, to resolve this matter. The LA Superior Court system, my playing ground here, if you will, says that they were forced to postpone cases in which litigants were scheduled to appear remotely on Friday. The court said in a statement it is rapidly working to resolve and reestablish connectivity. So the court system was impacted. A terminal at the Port of Los Angeles and 4 terminals at the Port of Long Beach were also temporarily affected by the outage overnight. The ports were operating normally on Friday. So we had radio stations, ABC affiliate, couldn't go on air as scheduled for its 11 p.m. newscast. So look, you had this thing impacting so many sectors. This is just in California. Again, guys, I'd appreciate your comments. How did this impact you in your state? What services were down? What did you specifically see that was let's say relevant to you? I think we need to share this stuff so everybody understands that it's not necessarily an isolated event when you see this kind of stuff happening. Let me talk about the banks because there's a story that I want to share with you that talks about how the banks were impacted by this. This is from the Daily Hodl. Last night it came out. It says JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, and Wells Fargo customers report cascade of failures as banks hammered by massive computer outage. And this is important. We talk about the banks being impacted. Then you start talking about your inability to access your money. And on this channel, we discuss all the time having resources outside of the banking system, having some cash set aside, having some alternative sources of liquidity, some gold and silver, having some supplies in order. I know we're getting a bit afield from the banking situation. We're talking about food and water because we don't know the extent, let's say the next time this happens, and it will happen in some form or another, what will be impacted then, right? It says U.S. banks are scrambling to recover from a massive computer outage that's disrupting financial transactions around the world. I told you about my friend that could not use or could not access his Schwab account, his trading account. He had to go into a Schwab office and deliver a physical check in which they wrote him a handwritten receipt. Remember those days, guys, when we actually had handwritten receipts? Amazing. Says says customers at JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, and Wells Fargo are reporting major ongoing outages, according to the network tracking service Down Detector. The historic outage, which has hammered banks, airlines, and scores of other businesses, was triggered by the billion-dollar cybersecurity firm CrowdStrike. We know that. The issue sparked the infamous blue screen of death. Yesterday, we know CrowdStrike released a statement that it wasn't a cyber attack. Let me get down to what the article is talking about. Customers at major U.S. banks are reporting login. They have these Venetian seagulls down here, and they're super aggressive. I was watching a YouTube video, and they said that these things, if you have food in your hand down here, that they will actually come in from behind you, and they'll dive bomb you and take ice cream, food, whatever it is, out of your hands. So I'm watching these suckers fly around. They're pretty good size. I don't have any food here with me. But anyway, they are seagulls, the Venice seagulls. All right, let me get back to the article. Customers of U.S. banks are reporting login issues, online transfer issues, and issues with deposits. We're talking about online transfer and login. Login, if you can't log in, you have no access to your money electronically, right, to your funds. If you can't transfer funds, you can't pay bills, you can't do anything. You are shut down, right? The outage has also impacted trading, at JP Morgan Chase, according to New York Times, and my friend confirmed that for me last night. He showed me sent me a text with a copy of or a photo of the handwritten receipt from Schwab. Employees at companies including JP Morgan Chase and Instinet, a brokerage firm owned by the Japanese bank Nomura, had trouble gaining access to their workstations, according to people with knowledge of the matter, who spoke on condition of anonymity. That led to delays in some trades, it says, as the companies rushed to find workarounds. The trading delays appeared to be resolved as of an hour ago, although CrowdStrike says the issue is not a hack. As a fix rolled in, says the outage sent the company's stock spiraling as much as 15%. So let's just take a step back. And what is the takeaway here? Hopefully the takeaway for all of you is, number one, that you're paying attention to this stuff, whether you're getting it from this video, whether you're getting it from reading some other news articles, whether you're going back and fact checking stuff we talk about here as it relates to this topic. I hope that you are paying attention to what's going on. All right. So again, was it a dry run for something greater? Was it actually a hack and they're just trying to, let's say, calm the masses so people don't freak out? But these are the kind of things that continue to erode confidence. And when you have an erosion of confidence, it may not even be directly because you have a bank failure, right? Or other kind of failure. Here we have an IT issue from one platform, right? And look how it's impacted everything. Primarily our ability, many of us, our ability to make stock trades, to access and transfer funds from account, and of course getting Starbucks coffee, right? healthcare, and maybe impacting the ability for you to have your doctor treat you in case in the event that you went through an emergency and they could not pull up your patient records. So all these kind of things cannot be understated, the severity of it. It is a big freaking deal. All right. So that's why I'm back here with the second video today. I'm going to upload this thing so it hits in the United States early in the morning for Saturday. Please digest this, whether you just watch this show or go and search out other sources as well and confirm this stuff. It has had and it continues to have a substantial impact worldwide. So again, to circle back to the takeaway, please consider, not financial advice, not legal advice, consider having some resources at your disposal outside the system. Do you have to have money in the bank to pay your bills? Sure you do. You have to have money in the bank to make investments and buy and sell real property and to just conduct business transactions? Sure you do. Do you need to have all your resources in a trading account? No. Do you need to have all your resources in one or two institutions? No. Would it make some sense to have some physical cash that gives you the ability for, I don't know, pick a number, a month, 3 months, 6 months, a year, to be able to take care of any needs you might have for you and your family if there is a complete systems down situation. And this easily could have become or been even far worse than it was. And let me just say that there's no reason to believe that the next event won't be far worse, all right? And won't have a much more substantial impact. So again, I don't want to get too redundant. I just don't want to, and again, just to comment from my friend, if you're in that camp and you believe it was no big deal, comment below. I want to hear from you. If you believe this is no big deal and it's just a one-off event and it didn't impact you, maybe if it didn't impact you, your conclusion is it's not a big deal, right? People get myopic if it didn't impact their situation. It didn't impact me per se, right? I'm here over in Europe, and I had paper euros yesterday, didn't have any issues. I was able to upload my video to you guys yesterday, but it doesn't mean that I don't believe it was a major event, all right? So we need to think a little outside the box here, understand the complexity of this, but more importantly, the gravity of this. I know I'm running a bit long today. Let me just do a quick scan here and show you. Let me just give you the backdrop. At the hotel we're staying at, there is a rooftop gathering area up here, a rooftop bar that opens up later in the evening, and it's kind of cool. You get to see a view at least of the surrounding area. So what I'll do is I'll just quickly pan around and give you guys the 360 view here, so you can see kind of where I'm sitting. Okay, so that's a bit of the rooftop there. You guys see that? All right, sorry, I'm trying to figure out this little deal I got a couple weeks ago for this trip, specifically to share stuff with you guys, and it's rotating kind of up and around. So again, a little IT glitch, pun, right? Have a safe weekend. Don't, let's say, forget about doing the workouts. Don't forget about the physical fitness. We need to keep the fitness level going. I'm probably getting, I don't know, several miles of walking here every day. Don't have a regular gym. I did over in Paris. I had a regular gym, which I was hitting every morning. Not the case here. That's okay. You just make do with what you have. If I want to, in my hotel room, I can just sit, do push-ups, do sit-ups, get the walking in. You don't have to have a fancy gym membership to do that. All right. So work on the fitness, please. All of us, we all need to be doing that. Stay safe this weekend. I hope this didn't have any major impact on you or your ability to get out of a stock trade or get into a stock trade or get into or out of a cryptocurrency trade or to transfer monies to pay your bills. If it did, share your story. I think everyone needs to learn from what's going on here. If you guys had some real life impact on this, I would love to hear. We all would, I think, really like to hear about that. With it being said, going long today. Have a fantastic weekend. And if I don't talk to you tomorrow, I will check in with everybody on Monday. Okay? Take care. Bye.